Okay guys, today we're doing the C-shaped fire striker. This is an old 1800s era design, but what I've got here is just a piece of 1095 steel. Now you guys can use whatever material you can get your hands on for this, but it needs to be a very high carbon steel. Old leaf springs, old coil springs. Coil springs work okay, but not as well as leaf springs, I don't think. I don't feel they throw a big enough spark. But this guy here, I know is 1095, comes out of a piece of bar stock I bought. Now if you get an old metal file, not a wood rasp, not a horseshoe rasp, but an old metal file, you can use that too. Just make sure to pre-anneal it. For those of you who don't know how to anneal, you put it in your fire, you get it to a good, nice glowing red, shut the fire off and walk away. Leave the piece in the fire buried so it cools down slowly. There's other ways to anneal, but that's the quickest, easiest, dirtiest way to do it. So I usually will anneal some pieces of steel right before I'm about to quit working for the day. But let's go ahead and get this guy started, and I'll show you how it's done. Okay guys, first things off, I'm going to lay this over the anvil and put a mark for my first handle. Now I kind of know where this piece of bar is as far as things go, so I know I'm going to want my first handle right about there. Okay guys, then we take the steel and lay it over the anvil, holding it in about the same place, and we're going to draw this out. If I can manage to hold on to it. Now this is pretty thin steel, so it's going to want to cool down awful fast. You got to work pretty quick with it. Okay guys, next you should have a piece that looks sort of like that. That'd have to be real perfect. Take your steel off the anvil, take your hand with a glove on, and set it up. Now what you're looking for is the knuckles. So I know that my knuckles are right here at this little divot in my anvil. That divot's there because I put it there on purpose, because I use this as a measuring device to make these things. So what you do is, you take your steel, set it up like this, so you know you got enough material there, and you put a mark. Now that mark is where I'll start necking this piece down, then I'll have that left over for the actual striker head. Okay guys, you should end up with something that looks like this. Now what you got to do is scroll these ends up. Like this. And if it takes you 2 heats, it takes you 2 heats. It's going to take me 2, so don't worry about it. Just always work this metal hot. Okay guys, now you've got both sides scrolled like that. I use my bending jig. Find whichever one works, which usually it's not the one I wanted to use, but oh well. And I will bend it around to about a 90. On both sides. So we'll get those both bent back and I'll go from there. Okay guys, after you've bent those to 90s, I just round them over the horn of the anvil. Try to get them to line up about in the middle. This is where you'll really tell how good a job you did on your spacing on either side. Now we're basically done with it. There's one more step to do, and that's this edge right here where my glove is. Oh, my glove, got to be careful. But right there, we got to heat that up and quench it. Now this being 1095, I'm going to quench it in oil. I've got some used motor oil. That'll work. ATF fluid, vegetable oil, animal tallow. I've seen guys use all kinds of stuff on this. I use used motor oil because I got access to it. Just quenching it in water with this steel, it'll actually cause it to shatter if you only do a partial quench. So we don't want that. So let's get this edge heated up. I'll show you how I quench them, and then we're basically done with the project. Okay guys, we're at temperature, and as you can tell, just that edge is red. Before I quench it, I always just flake off any scale with a brush one last time, take it and set it straight in the oil. You also got to be careful not to, with this plastic container, not to touch the bottom of the pan there. That's it. The rest of it can actually be quenched off in water because it's not that hot. Now you just take this in on your grinder, you run this flat, a nice good sharp edges on your corners, which I've already got because I left the bar the way it was. So all I have to do is just go back with a grinder and clean this thing up a little bit, and it's ready to go. Okay, this was, just so you guys are wondering, this was a contest submission from Bushcraftmyway. This is his fire steel. If you guys want, you can put little twists in them, whatever you want. The only thing I've done here that you guys didn't see in the video is I did take it to the grinder, kind of cleaned up the edges here, just make sure it was a good flat edge. And just keep in mind, anytime you're working with a piece of heat-treated steel in a grinder, that you don't want to let it sit on that grinder for very long. I'll put it on, count to 3, pull it off, tap it in water to keep it cold. Because if you start to temper this, it'll actually change the properties of how it works. I don't have a piece of flint around anymore, but I do have this guy. This is just a rotary stone tool. There is little bits of flint and granite and other stuff in these abrasive tools. You can buy the Dremel ones, but these are like $1 or $2 at your local hardware store, and you just take and strike it. I'm not sure if these sparks are even gonna show up. I think you can see a couple dropping there. There's a couple decent ones, but yeah, that's it, guys. So congratulations, Bushcraftmyway. Even if you have already sent me your address, go ahead and send it to me again just to make sure I got it. And I will get this out in the mail to you as soon as I can. You know, and once again, guys, this is not the ultimate way of lighting a fire. I much prefer a lighter or a ferricium rod, but this is kind of a neat project to do, and this is, you know, old world. This is those old skills, and knowing how to use them does come in handy. I mean, just a good piece of steel like this that's well made, you can light a fire with it. I mean, just simple little things like this. One thing on these, most of them you'll find are a lot smaller than this one. This one's pretty substantial. Reason for that is so you can be wearing a glove when you do it. And the second thing is I didn't get a measurement of Bushcraftmyway's hand. Normally I make these to fit the hand, each individual person's hand. I know I have kind of smaller hands, so I made it fit my hand and then added a chunk. But irregardless, it'll work, and it should serve him quite well, and hopefully we can get to see a video of him using it, see it in action. So there you go. Once again, congratulations to Bushcraftmyway. This is Kovaci Ironworks saying thanks for watching. Hope you learned something, and hope to see you again real soon.